guess I'll just call us to order and do a couple of housekeeping matters after we've done the roll call and determination of quorum. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
If you can't hear me, please let me know. So this is Robert Depper, the chair of the Burlington Police Commission. I am going to call us to order right now. I'm going to do a roll call and determination of quorum. I will call each commissioner's name and ask that you, mark your presence if you could. Jessica Oski.
Here.
Jack Keefe. Susan Comerford.
Here.
Mary Cox.
Here.
Mary, I saw
yes.
your
Yes.
audio
Here.
kick on,
Here.
but I didn't hear you.
Here.
Still can't hear you, Mary.
So is there something wrong with the connection on your end?
I can hear you.
Jessica,
Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. I've got you now. And Shakuntala Rao,
Can people hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you. All right, with that in mind, and Commissioner Finnerman already contacted me. She had an emergency that she had to attend, so she will not be here today. Nonetheless, we do appear to have a quorum. And I think I can see most of the people online, though I'm having to switch back and forth on my computer between my notes and the video feed. So if anyone has their hand up and I don't see it, I'll just ask one of my colleagues to just let me know so that they can be heard. At this time, are there any additions or modifications to the agenda?
No.
No, hearing none, we'll move on. I would ask if there's any motion to adopt the previous meeting's minutes.
I move to adopt the previous,
I second.
I move
To adopt the previous meeting's minute.
And I understand there's a second from Commissioner Comerford.
Yes.
There's been a motion and second to adopt the previous minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the minutes are adopted. At this time, I'd like to invite
Mary has her hand up.
At this time, I'd like to adopt or invite the public to address the commission.
Mary has her hand up.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, Commissioner Cox.
I was just getting a real bad echo there for a few minutes. So I think with the three of you sitting there together, just make sure that whoever's not talking has muted.
Sure, thank you. That's a good flag. I appreciate that, Commissioner Cox. It appears to me that there is no one in the public, online, or present at the DPW that is present to address the commission. That being the case, we will close public comment at this time. The next item on our agenda are committee reports from all committees. I guess I will start with the one that is most obvious to me, the Animal Control Committee. Commissioner Oski, I believe you are the chair of that committee, unless I'm mistaken.
Sure.
Sorry, it's an ad hoc subcommittee. You want to mute yourself?
And we,
You're gonna have to mute yourself, Robert.
I muted my audio right then. Were you getting a reverb?
Mute yourself on. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we issued a decision in the case of Moose, the dog. And if you all haven't received it, I will forward it to you. It has been filed with the court. And I believe that it is basically acceptable to all the parties. So hopefully the recurring issue of Moose the dog is now settled. which I'm very happy about. So this ad hoc committee of the Animal Control Committee and ad hoc committee of the Police Commission will be dissolved until the next time there's a need for an Animal Control Committee.
Okay, thank you very much. Chair recognizes Commissioner Comerford.
So Commissioner Oski, what was the end result for Moose?
For Moose, Moose has been rehomed to a relative who also lives in the New North End, but Moose and Moose has been through a training and and a stabilization program, and he is not allowed to return to the neighborhood where the problems occurred. And the neighbors were heard at our hearing, and the neighbors have all agreed to this settlement opportunity that we had, and the police department is on board with it as well. So hopefully this will settle the matter of Moose.
Thank you for your work on this project.
Excellent. Thank you, commissioners. Does anybody else have any questions for Commissioner Oski? Hearing none, we'll move on. And I want to get to the complaints committee, but before we do that, are there any other committees that would like to be heard? Okay, hearing none, I will just open the floor about the complaints committee. I am fully aware that we have a mandate to engage with complaints. We haven't done that in, I believe, three meetings at this point. We've had a lot of transition, but that is certainly a priority. I think we should at some point, probably next meeting, unless anyone has particular commentary now, to put it on the agenda to discuss specifically and perhaps engage with the complaints at the next meeting. Does anybody have commentary or thoughts they'd like to share?
Just if there is any update, or what are thoughts in terms of resuming that process?
Sure thing.
Initial thoughts, let's say.
Sure, I appreciate that, Commissioner Keefe. So again, being new, and I'm still kind of onboarding myself to the whole thing, who is currently on the complaints committee?
So
I
I
didn't
was
know.
on it with Jessica until like a day or two ago when I said I need to withdraw from that committee. So right now it's just Jessica.
Okay, very well.
All right, Commissioner Oski.
No, I appreciate that, Commissioner Cox. So, and my audio was down, so I understood you to say that you were on the committee until a couple of days ago, and you wish, when you announced your desire to step down from that. Did I hear you correctly?
Yes, I'd sent a group text.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you very much. All right, Commissioner Oski. Well, I guess that is you. Though I don't know that I'm going to, I don't want to put you on the spot right now, but because, you know, obviously we've had a lot of transition. If you want to talk, please feel free.
Sure, I'm happy to update. We had this matter in the capable hands of Jack Keefe, and when Jack stepped down after a dutiful service to the commission, Mary and I were not able to get it together to properly manage the complaints. And so we need to, I think, probably have a face-to-face subcommittee meeting at some point to figure out where we are and what we need to do to get back on top of the complaints. And maybe we can arrange to have that meeting with BPD because they are also managing the complaints. So we need to figure out where we are, where the complaints are, and how we can get back on top of the process. And I accept responsibility for falling down in the job I did.
So did I. And I couldn't see how to get myself back up. And so I just got too many other things going on, but I really appreciate Commissioner Oskey being willing to still stick with it and go forward with it.
Sure, and I echo that. Both Commissioner Oskey and Commissioner Keefe and Commissioner Cox, thank you for your work on this up till now. Commissioner Oskey, I'm not going to let you sit on a committee by yourself. I'm just going to announce that I am now going to be on the committee with you. Anyone else who would like to assist, please feel free. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good idea to sit down with BPD over the next month and try to figure out a way to manage that. So we don't have to necessarily, I don't think, make a motion to do that right now. I'll just, Commissioner Oskey, you and I can coordinate and reach out to the chief of BPD to talk about that.
Okay. And just to add and to renew my what I said previously, I'm available to facilitate the handover and help institute the process that had been in place. That's a standing offer. So,
okay, thank you very much, Commissioner Keefe. Offer accepted. So any information you can provide or help to facilitating that would be greatly appreciated. So thank you. All right. Are there any other committees that I am forgetting about? All right. By silence, I will assume I have remembered all of them. So thank you very much. And we will move on to the next issue. Looks like we went through committee reports and committee changes. So the next piece of that will be discussion of Department Policy DD03, Fair and Impartial Policing. We talked about this a little bit last time as a flag for later discussion at this meeting. Do any of the commissioners want to start the discussion? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Oskey.
Thank you.
Yeah. You mute yourself, please. Thank you. So I have we have a new, as of October, we have a fair and impartial policing policy that was updated based on the statewide policy. And I have some amendments that I would like to propose to that policy. And I'm just going to read a little bit of a background about why I'm doing this and explain what my amendments are, and then we can talk about the process. It's not something that we're going to vote on tonight. It's something that we'll vote on at the next meeting or at a subsequent meeting, but I'm just going to introduce the amendments tonight and maybe answer any clarifying questions so that we can provide notice to the public and the police department to weigh in. The city of Burlington has a long history of being a welcoming place for immigrants and a proud tradition of prohibiting discrimination based on race, color, ethnicity, national origin, or other protected characteristics in the provision of all of its services. And the city intends to continue to make its services available to all residents, regardless of their federal immigration status. The Burlington Police Department adopted a bias-free policing directive about 22 years ago, it's been a long time, and determined then that a person's immigration status is not relevant to its primary safety mission with regard to persons charged with crimes. The state of Vermont's Criminal Justice Training Council adopted a fair and impartial policing policy in 2016 that set forth standards to clarify circumstances in which officers could consider personal characteristics when making law enforcement decisions. The Vermont Criminal Justice Training Council has amended that policy from time to time. In 2020, following a city council resolution, the Burlington Police Department amended its fair and impartial policing policy to include several additional restrictions on agency members, on police department members, and their communication and involvement with federal immigration authorities. This was an important step to address loopholes in the former model policy and provide assurances to immigrant communities that BPD as an agency would not be involved in immigration, detention, and deportation. Last year, in 2024, the Vermont Criminal Justice Council again amended the model fair and impartial policing policy to include several positive amendments from the previous model policy. However, I believe there remains room for improvement. The 2024 model policy continues to allow law enforcement officers to make decisions based on an individual's immigration status and to collaborate with federal deportation agencies in a number of ways. The BPD's current fair and impartial policing policy, which was adopted by Chief Murad in October 2024, tracks closely to the state model policy. The current policy, dated October 2024, actually weakens protections that immigrants in Burlington have had for years at a time now of heightened, questionably legal federal enforcement activity. I am proposing a few amendments to the BPD fair and impartial policing policy for consideration by the Commission. These amendments are intended to update the current policy in a way that maintains the policy improvements that the city agreed to in 2020. The proposed amendments maintain the protections for our immigrant communities found in our previous policy. The amendment also complies with 20 VSA 2361 allowance. This is a statutory provision that allows departments to, quote, include additional restrictions on agency members' communication and involvement with federal immigration authorities. I also believe that the amendments are also more straightforward and easier to understand than the current policy. Also, for those that are interested, there will be a joint hearing of the House and Senate Judiciary Committees on the topic of the hearing is fair and impartial policing this Thursday morning, beginning at 9 a.m. The hearing will be live streamed. You could also watch it on demand on YouTube. You can find the hearing by going to the Vermont Legislature's homepage and navigating to the House Judiciary Committee. I want to now highlight for you what the policy, our current fair and policing policy does provide. And this is for purposes of commission members, but also for the general public to understand what our policy provides. Under our policy, police cannot give federal immigration officials free access to people in custody. That means that police stations are not to be used as de facto holding cells for immigration, customs enforcement, and border patrol. And traffic stops are not allowed to be used as opportunities to turn immigrants over to deportation agents. That's in our current policy. Our current policy also does not allow, under our current policy, police are not allowed to avoid prohibitions on investigating immigration status by claiming to investigate quote unquote unlawful entry. The policy prevents officers from investigating border crossings or making arrests except in limited circumstances. Our current policy also, when police conduct an arrest, they cannot discriminate against suspects due to immigration status. Specifically, police are not allowed to decide to hold someone rather than release them with a court summons based on their immigration status. During booking, individuals will not be required to provide social security numbers, and not providing one will not be seen as evidence of immigration status. Finally, police cannot require passengers in motor vehicle stops to identify themselves unless they are suspected of criminal activity. If requesting IDs, they must state that it's optional, and not providing an ID is not itself suspicious activity. In most instances, police are prohibited from sharing information with federal immigration authorities under our current policy. There remains, however, two what I consider to be loopholes to this restriction, which my proposed amendments intend to address. The first one is that police can still share information when they allege that it is for public or officer safety or law enforcement needs. That's in quotes. I believe this carve out is too broad. The second one is that police can still communicate, quote, information related to citizenship or immigration status, unquote, with deportation agencies without restriction. The updated policy does discourage such information sharing and strictly defines the terms, limiting the damage done by this loophole. But still, I believe the loophole is too broad. So I have sent you all a draft of this amendment, but because the public has not had a chance to review it yet, I won't go through it right now. Instead, we will post it for the next meeting. And at that time, we'll invite interested parties, including Migrant Justice and the ACLU and the Burlington Police Department, and anybody else that wants to come and speak to the need for these amendments or concerns with the amendments. And we can have a full debate at that time. I'm happy to answer any questions that members might have right now. And I may or may not be able to answer them, but I'm happy to engage.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Oski. The chair recognizes Commissioner Cox.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner Oski, it was my understanding that the agreement, I'm not sure if there's a policy, a written policy, but certainly the practice and agreement between the commission and the police department is that we would work collaboratively on
Bring this up.
changes to directives. And so I was wondering if it might be more appropriate to engage the police department before next meeting, because they obviously may have concerns about what they can and they cannot do based on the current quick moving changes in federal policy. And I just think that it would perhaps make sense to engage them collaboratively before the next meeting.
Sure, I did send these to Acting Chief. So I would look forward to hearing the BPD's comments or concerns. And these amendments are also, I don't know how many communities have adopted them, but these are amendments that some other communities have adopted. I don't know which ones, but I'm hoping that Migrant Justice or ACLU might be able to provide us that information at the next meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Oski. I actually had a question. Do you think, and I'm curious, you or the other commissioners think that that would be a time to potentially discuss the impact, if any, of the federal use of the Alien Enemies Act or the Insurrection Act to federalize municipal law enforcement?
Yeah, but
Sure.
it would be great to get some feedback from maybe the Burlington police, from the city attorney about that. That's far above my pay grade. But that is something that we've heard. And I think there was a new executive order issued today that was going to try and force our local and state police officers to enforce immigration laws.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Okay, well, I'm interested in that, and I just flag that for the BPD, and I'll ask the chief when he does his report. I am interested to see if our local law enforcement has a thought about that or a plan in the event that a more specific directive comes down. Yes, the chair recognizes Commissioner Cox.
So to add on to your stated concerns, Commissioner Depper, I was also concerned about, for example, how the police is thinking about their use of force policy when a situation might arise, for example, that it could be a kidnapping of a person by hooded and masked and no insignia, bad guys versus a kidnapping with hoods and masks and no insignia by federal law enforcement officials that don't identify themselves as such. How does the police department, for example, think about what is their use of force policy to prevent kidnappings when you really can't tell what's going on and how they've been thinking about that. So is the chief not here tonight, the acting chief?
Well, I am assuming will be on the Zoom, but I don't know, but I assume he will be. We have communicated a little bit today. Thank you. Commissioner, and before I move, okay, so Commissioner Cox brought her hand down. Chair recognizes Commissioner Comerford. Commissioner Comerford, you are muted. I'm sorry, we can't hear you.
Commissioner Oski, I'm suggesting we bring Stephanie Seguino in for the panel. There's going to be a report released, I think, on Thursday morning, discussing where we are right now as a city in terms of the title of her presentation and the report is, "Does Race of Driver Still Influence Officer Decisions in Vermont?" And it's about trafficking policy, but she has expertise in a lot of these areas. So I would really like to have her be part of this process.
Thank you, Commissioner Comerford. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Oski, did you?
Thank you.
No, I would be happy to send my proposed amendments to Stephanie.
And Chair recognizes Commissioner Keefe.
Thank you. Just some process questions or clarifications. First, I recall when the policy was announced, both the ACLU and Microjustice said they were considered it a win, but they did have some reservations. They cited two provisions that they had advocated for, and apparently the subcommittee, the Vermont Criminal Justice Council, had included in the draft. See those, and as well as have the opportunity for either of those stakeholders to speak to those at the next meeting. But if those two provisions could be sent to the commission in advance, I think that would be very helpful. I would also welcome, maybe even before the meeting, input from city attorney's office, because as obviously has been raised here, there are some potential liability issues that the city may incur. As I understand at our February meeting, we were told, or at least informed, I think, by the city attorney and the chief, that of course we are obligated to have the policy in place. It is the state model, and that while we have the opportunity to add provisions, my understanding was that the current model is the minimum, that we're not really allowed to remove provisions from the model policy. I noted in some of the in the draft that was circulated, there were provisions just taken out of the model policy. So I would welcome both city attorney and our independent counsel to weigh in on to what extent adding protections can be done without sort of the minimum in the policy. So I think it would be helpful to have those sort of process issues clarified before moving forward. And just seeing what the latitude is in terms of amending that state model policy. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Commissioner Keefe. The amendments that I propose are the amendments that were proposed and supported by Migrant Justice. These are exactly those proposals. And the parts for the public, when you see these proposed amendments, the parts that are deleted are really not, they're not directives that are deleted. They're more clarifying provisions that are deleted. I don't think that the deletions change the substance. The proposed deletions, I think, add confusion. But I welcome our independent counsel and the city attorney's input and the BPD's input to the proposal.
thank you,
And
Keefe.
so one other thing, the model policy is still the bulk of the model policy is the heart of the model policy, and the substance of the model policy remains in the proposal, with the proposed amendment.
Well, and as I understand that statutory authority, so long as the model policy, the model policy is the floor, not the ceiling, as I understand it. So we can wait for city attorney opinion, but it will be an interesting conversation, no doubt. Does anyone else have anything to add to that particular issue? Yes, Commissioner Comerford. Go ahead.
I want to thank you for doing that work, Commissioner Oski. It's very important.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Comerford. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. The next item on the agenda is the chief's report. I don't know what information we have, but I'll leave that to BPD Zoom.
The chief is not in the meeting today.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there any reports that BPD has right now?
There's the chief report that's attached to the agenda, but as for actually reporting on it, that's not something I can do, so there's nothing from us here.
Okay, I appreciate that. On the agenda, it indicates to be posted. So is it posted now? Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, BPD.
Somebody talking, because I don't hear any words.
Susie, you're muted.
Great.
Commissioner Depper, are you talking?
Commissioner Comerford, if you're speaking, I couldn't hear you.
I was trying to get your attention because it looked like you were talking, but I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I'll start over. It looks like my mic was muted. Okay, we'll try this again. So the one commendation we have says, "Good morning. I want to again let you know of a very pleasant conversation I had with a lady regarding an incident. The woman could not say enough about her interaction with dispatcher Gwen. This lady was struggling with the idea of an E, and I'm sorry, I don't know what that short is, that was to be served on her brother at a place, and spoke with dispatcher Gwen about the situation and said it was one of the nicest interactions she had had. She praised dispatcher Gwen for taking the time to listen to her and expressed how impressed she was with the support provided by dispatcher Gwen. It's always nice when a caller expresses such, and I wanted to let you know that she received high praise for the above-mentioned incident. Dispatcher Gwen, from what I've observed and from hearing her dispatch calls over the radio, seems to be doing well. Talking with this woman was a very pleasant experience for me. In hearing the praise she provided for the services she was provided, most directed toward one of your folks and one of our department's dispatchers. Thank you very much." That was the only public commendation we had, but I wanted to take a moment to recognize former chair and current commissioner Shakuntala Rao. I understand she has announced her decision to finish out her term in June and not seek another one. I wanted to thank her for her service to this commission very much. I know she has certainly put in a lot of work and, herded us all over the years, and wanted to commend her for that very fine work. So thank you very much, Commissioner Rao.
Thank you. Thank you all.
And that concludes go ahead, Commissioner Oski.
Other item on the agenda, the public information draft directive that we skipped over, that this is the new draft directive about police communications. That's, you're muted if you're talking.
Well, I apologize for missing that. Please go ahead. I didn't see that in the packet.
Well, it's
not an agenda item. I was just pointing it out. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I still haven't seen it. Where are you pointing it out?
It's on the agenda that posted.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to show it to me because I've got the agenda that's posted. I believe I have the correct one and I don't see, all I see is police commendations received from the public, announcement of next meeting date and adjournment.
Commissioner Depper, could I just input something? Is that yes?
He's trying to figure out the agenda.
I think we need the BPD to walk us through that.
And I am sorry, I'm looking at this agenda packet. I see draft minutes, chief's report, public information directive draft,
Yeah, that's it.
but that was not on our agenda. I'm not sure. This is just a document for DD 30.
We could simply put it on the next.
So I'm not 100% sure why it was added. It's not on the agenda. It is 6:48. Does anyone want to make a motion to add it to the agenda? I know we're a little out of order. Let me put it this way. Does anyone have an objection to a motion to add this piece of this document and discussion of the document to the agenda?
I
I don't think we can, I think it's up to the BPD it's up to the chief to walk us through this. So the chief is not here, so I don't think we can, I think we should, I see that it is not on the agenda, but it was in the packet, so maybe we postpone it until the May meeting.
Okay, I have no problem with that. As I understand that, Commissioner Oski, that is a motion to announce and table that DD 30 directive and put it on our agenda for the next meeting. Did I understand that correctly? Okay, is there a second? Okay, second from Commissioner Comerford. All those in favor say aye or raise your hands.
Aye.
All those opposed? Seeing none, we will put it on the next agenda. And I appreciate that flag. I totally would have missed that otherwise.
Commissioner Depper, could we
Thank
go
you.
back for a moment
Chair
to
recognizes Commissioner.
thank you. Can we go back for a moment to the first commendation? They mentioned the E.E. That's an emergency evaluation. So that is a warrant that's obtained when someone's in crisis and there's concern for the safety of the person or others. And the police serve that. And oftentimes it's the worst day of their lives for the person involved and for their family. And so it's really great to have gotten that really nice commendation when they're emerging from that situation.
Thank you, Commissioner Cox, and I certainly appreciate you not only clarifying that, but also underlining the human aspect of it. I think that's really important. I appreciate your comments. All right, now I think that we are to the announcement of the next meeting date. Get my calendar. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe our next meeting date will be Tuesday, the 27th of May. Is that correct? Okay, hearing no objection to that, it will be the May 27th at 6 o'clock will be our next meeting. That will be at City Hall in our usual location. And do I hear that concludes our public business? Do I hear a motion to move into executive session?
So
Okay, I've got two hands raised.
okay, I have a point of order. Usually we have executive session only when we're considering things like complaints and so forth from the chief. Since the chief isn't here, I was wondering, do we actually have anything for executive session?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We have the conflict counsel is going to update us on work that he has been doing, both with regard to an appeal from a disciplinary matter and with regard to some other ongoing work, and update the commission on where he is on that work.
Okay, thank you. Nobody had said anything, so I was very curious. Thank you.
Sure, no problem. Commissioner Comerford, I'll recognize you first because you've had your hand up longer.
This is not for a debate tonight, but I would like to request we consider for a 6-month period, moving our meetings around the city, particularly to neighborhoods that many people don't often go to. Since we are a police commission, I think we should be hearing things from people in the communities. So I'd like us to think about that. It would involve some logistical challenges, but I think if we really want to represent the whole city, we have to hear them.
I think that's a great point. I think it's very well taken, and I totally agree. I would like to put that on the next agenda, and I will certainly be thinking about that between now and then. So thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Oski?
I move that the commission find that premature general public knowledge of personnel matters pertaining to the Burlington Police Department would clearly place the commission at a substantial disadvantage because the commission risks disclosing confidential information, and therefore I move that we go into executive session based on a special finding pursuant to 1 VSA 313A1D.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Oski. Before I ask for a second, I didn't want to forget, Town Meeting TV, thank you very much for accommodating us. I'm sorry for the confusion tonight, but y'all sure made it happen, so thank you. And so I'm now going to ask, is there a second to Commissioner Oski's motion? I will go, well, Commissioner Comerford, second. All those in favor say aye or otherwise indicate. Aye. All those opposed?
And now there's a second motion.
Based on the finding of substantial disadvantage, the
Commission enters into executive session to discuss personnel matters under the provisions of 1 VSA 313A1.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Oski. I'm sorry, was that a motion? Okay, do I hear a second on that? I will go ahead and second that. All those in favor, please say aye or otherwise indicate.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, hearing none, we will adjourn the public aspect of this meeting and move into executive session. Thank you.